I thought I had the perfect life. A beautiful wife, Sarah, who I had loved since college. A brother, Jake, who I trusted with my life. And a mother, Linda, who had always been my rock. We were a close-knit family, at least that's what I believed. Sarah and I had been married for 6 years, and while things weren't as exciting as they were in the beginning, I thought we were happy. She had been acting distant for the past few months, but I chalked it up to stress. She started dressing up more, going out late, and keeping her phone hidden like it contained government secrets. One night, I confronted her. "Is there something you want to tell me, Sarah?" She scoffed. "You're being paranoid, Alex. I just need space." That was the beginning of the end. I started noticing little things. Sarah would cancel plans at the last minute, always with a lame excuse. Jake, my younger brother, suddenly became more secretive, dodging my calls and avoiding me at family gatherings. My gut told me something was off, but I pushed the thought aside. After all, this was my family, the people who were supposed to love and support me. Then came the moment that shattered everything. One night, I got a text from an unknown number. Asterisk, your wife is cheating on you. If you want proof, go to the Greenfield Hotel, room 214, tonight at 9 p.m. Asterisk. My heart raced as I debated what to do. It could be a cruel joke, but something in my gut told me otherwise. The thought of Sarah being unfaithful made my stomach churn, but the thought of not knowing was worse.
I had to see for myself.
At exactly 9 p.m., I parked outside the Greenfield Hotel, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. The entire drive there, I kept telling myself it had to be a mistake, that it was all in my head, that Sarah would never do this to me. But deep down, I already knew the truth. I walked into the hotel lobby, my pulse hammering in my ears. The receptionist barely glanced at me as I made my way toward the second floor. When I reached room 214, I hesitated, my fingers hovering over the doorknob. Then I heard it. A laugh. Her laugh. It was light, flirtatious. Asterisk, asterisk, happy, asterisk, asterisk. My vision blurred with rage. I wasn't even thinking as I reached for the keycard I had bribed the front desk clerk to give me. My hands trembled as I swiped it through the lock. The green light blinked. The door clicked open.
And there she was, Sarah.
In bed, wrapped in nothing but a sheet. And standing beside her, completely at ease. Asterisk, asterisk, my brother. Jake, asterisk, asterisk.
Jake.
My brother. I stood frozen in the doorway, my breath caught in my throat. Sarah's eyes widened in shock, her face draining of color. Jake, on the other hand, had the audacity to smirk. "Well," he said casually, running a hand through his hair. "Guess the secret's out." My whole body felt numb. My hands curled into fists, but I couldn't move. I couldn't think. "Alex," Sarah stammered, scrambling to pull the sheet tighter around her. This isn't what it looks like." I let out a hollow laugh. "Oh, really? Because it looks like my wife is in bed with my brother." She opened her mouth to argue, but nothing came out. Because what could she possibly say? I turned to Jake, my voice ice cold. "How long?" Jake shrugged. "Does it matter? Does it matter?" My blood boiled. This wasn't just some drunken mistake. This was planned. Ongoing. My own brother had been sleeping with my wife behind my back, and he didn't even have the decency to pretend to be ashamed. Sarah's lip trembled. "Alex, please. Save it," I snapped, my voice shaking. "I don't want to hear a single excuse. Not from you, and sure as hell not from him." I turned on my heel and stormed out of the room, slamming the door behind me. But the second I stepped into the hallway, the reality of what just happened hit me like a freight train. I staggered down the hotel corridor, my legs barely carrying me. My mind screamed at me to do something, to go back in there and hit Jake, to throw Sarah's stuff out on the street, to destroy everything in my path. But instead, I drove. I don't even remember how I got there, but suddenly, I was standing in front of my mother's house. Linda had always been the person I turned to when life got rough. She had been my protector when my father left us. She had always told me, asterisk, no matter what happens, Alex, you have family. We stick together. Asterisk. So I told her everything. I expected her to be horrified,
To rage on my behalf.
to tell me she'd never speak to Jake or Sarah again. But she just sighed, like she had been expecting this. Sweetheart, she said softly, placing a hand on mine. You need to understand. Jake and Sarah, they just have a deeper connection. My stomach twisted. What are you talking about? She sighed again. They've been in love for a while.
I
knew about it. I jerked my hand away like I had been burned. You knew? My voice was barely a whisper. She looked down at her hands. I didn't want you to get hurt. I let out a bitter laugh. So, instead of telling me the truth, you helped them betray me? Tears welled up in her eyes. I thought you'd be okay. You're strong, Alex. My entire world came crashing down in that moment. Not only had my wife and my brother stabbed me in the back, but my own mother had stood by and let it happen. The very people who were supposed to love me the most had betrayed me in the worst way possible. I stood up, my chair scraping against the floor. I'm done, I said, my voice ice cold. With all of you. Alex, please. But I was already walking out the door, slamming it behind me. I had lost everything, and I swore, at that moment, they would regret ever crossing me. The days that followed felt like a blur. My mind was clouded with rage, betrayal, and a hollow emptiness I couldn't shake. The people I had trusted most, my wife, brother, and mother, had shattered my world. I couldn't just sit back and let them get away with it. They thought they had won, that I would disappear quietly, licking my wounds. They were dead wrong. First, I went home. Our home. The house Sarah and I had built together. The same house where I had spent years believing we had a future. Now, all I could see was the lies. I gathered everything that belonged to her. Clothes, jewelry, makeup, even the stupid little sentimental trinkets she kept on the dresser. All of it went into trash bags. Then I went online and listed every piece of furniture she loved for sale. The velvet couch?
Gone.
The custom dining set? Sold within hours. But that was just the beginning. Sarah had been financially dependent on me for years. She had a job, but it barely covered her shopping addiction. I had been the one paying the bills, the mortgage, her car, and now that was over. I canceled every credit card with her name on it, froze our joint accounts, and just to twist the knife, I called her office and informed them she had been using company hours and resources to have an affair. Did I have proof? Yes. Remember that anonymous text that had exposed her? Turns out, whoever sent it had also included hotel receipts, screenshots of her messages, and time-stamped pictures, all neatly compiled in an email. I forwarded everything to her boss. By the time Sarah realized what was happening, her bank accounts were empty, her job was on the line, and she had nothing left in the house. She showed up at my door in a fit of rage. You had no right, she screamed, pounding on the door. You can't just take everything from me. I opened the door just enough to look her in the eyes. You already took everything from me first, remember? Then I slammed it in her face. She banged on it for another 10 minutes before storming off. One down. Now it was Jake's turn. Unlike Sarah, my brother had money. He had always been the golden child, our mother's favorite. He had a successful business, but I knew one thing. He wasn't as smart as he thought he was. I reached out to some mutual business contacts and started digging. It didn't take long to find what I needed. Jake had been embezzling money from his own company. Not a lot, just small amounts at a time. Enough to fly under the radar. But with the right evidence, it was enough to ruin him. I compiled every shady transaction, every unethical deal, and anonymously sent it to the company's board members. Within days, Jake was under investigation. His investors pulled out. His company stocks plummeted. And when he realized someone had exposed him, he knew it was me. You're gonna regret this, Alex, he snarled when he called me. You don't mess with family. I laughed coldly. Funny. That's exactly what I was thinking when you were screwing my wife.
Click.
I didn't need to say anything else. Now there was only one person left. My mother. And for her, I had something special planned. Linda, ***, my own mother ***, had been the final knife in my back. Out of everyone who had betrayed me, hers hurt the most. She had always played favorites, doting on Jake, excusing his reckless behavior, making me feel like I was second best. But when she actively helped my brother steal my wife, that was the moment she became just another enemy. I could have cut her off and walked away. But she didn't deserve that mercy. Because Linda had a secret of her own, one she had spent years keeping from Jake. Jake wasn't my father's biological son. She had cheated on my dad years ago, and Jake was the result. My father had never known, and neither did Jake. The only reason I found out was because of an old letter I had stumbled upon years ago, one she had hidden away in a locked box in the attic. I never planned to use that information.
But now
it was time. I sent an anonymous letter to Jake. In it, I enclosed copies of the old hospital records that proved his real father wasn't the man he had called Dad his whole life. I also included a copy of a letter Linda had written to her lover, the man Jake had never met, saying how she wished she had chosen him instead of my father. Jake's world shattered overnight. He confronted Linda in front of the whole family, screaming, demanding answers. She tried to deny it, but the evidence was right there in black and white. And in that moment, the son she had always favored turned his back on her. "You lied to me my whole life," he shouted. Linda sobbed, begging him to understand. But Jake, her golden boy, stormed out of her house and never looked back. Now, she was truly alone. Jake lost his company. Sarah lost everything I had given her. And Linda? She lost both her sons.
But me?
I walked away free. Sarah tried to reach out months later, sending messages about how she had been young and stupid, and that she missed what we had. Jake never dared to contact me again. And Linda? She called, she texted, she even showed up at my new place. But I never opened the door. I was done with all of them. I had lost everything, but in the end, I had gained something far more valuable.
Peace.